Welcome to Grounded Construction Group Company Induction. At Grounded, our mission is to be grounded, feet firmly on the soil, solid in consistency, thought, and action. Our values are 1. Safety, 2. Well-being, 3. Quality, 4. Integrity, 5. Passion, 6. Efficiency. Please take your time to read through Grounded's Occupational Health and Safety Policy. Please take your time to read through Grounded's Quality Policy. Please take your time to read through Grounded's Environmental Policy. PPE requirements. The minimum PPE requirements for attendance at an operating site include yellow high-vis shirt, sleeves rolled down and buttoned, long pants, steel cap boots laced up to the top, hard hat as per AS 1801, gloves and glove clip to be carried with you, safety glasses which comply to AS 1337. Some tasks may require additional task-specific PPE. This must be documented within the relevant risk assessments, e.g. JHA or Take 5. Dress policy. Jewellery. Any item of jewellery that constitutes a foreseeable hazard having the potential to harm health or safety must not be worn in the workplace. In particular, rings, watches and chains, or any other hanging pieces that may have the potential to become entangled in machinery or equipment and therefore pose a risk to health and safety. Hair. Hair should be worn in a neat and tidy fashion. If directed to do so by Grounded, employees must tie back long hair in either a hairnet or another similar device. Body and facial piercing. Body and facial piercings may present the potential for harm to health or safety and/or interfere with the work carried out by a workplace participant and are therefore unacceptable. Management reserves the right to instruct an employee to remove piercings while at work. Pierced earlobes may be acceptable if there is no potential for harm to health or safety. Uniform. Any employee member supplied with a uniform is required to wear it whilst on duty and to take responsibility for its maintenance. Major hazards across the worksite. Electrical safety. Working at heights. Isolation and tagging. Confined space entry. Mobile plant and equipment. Management of traffic. Cranes and lifting equipment. Elevated work platforms. Scaffolding. Barricading and guarding. Excavations. Vehicle and plant movement. Extreme weather. Long work hours and associated fatigue. Psychosocial hazards. Working away from home. A Take 5 is a pre-task risk assessment that is completed to assess your immediate work area. A minimum of 3 Take 5s are required per day. However, there is no maximum limit to the number of Take 5s you can do. They should be done as often as they are needed. It is expected, at the very least, that Take 5s would be carried out before you start any task, when you commence work in a new area, when you return to work from a meal break, etc. Any time that conditions change in your task. Working at heights. In Australia, there is no common legally defined minimum height that defines working at heights. You're considered to be working at heights in any situation where there is a risk of falling a distance that could cause injury. Any situation, however, that involves the possibility of a fall of more than 2 metres is considered high risk. Controls for working at height, high risk work, risk of fall over 2 metres. A working at height training certificate is required. SWMS and rescue plan must be in place. Inspect all work at heights equipment prior to use. Set up exclusion zones. Prevent dropped objects. Consider use of tow boards, tool lanyards, handrail guards, tool bags and barricaded drop zones. Use a spotter and set up drop zones for EWP works. Suspended loads. Plan before you lift. Never place any part of your body under a suspended load. Use exclusive control zones to control your lifting areas. Use additional spotters when required to manage suspended loads. Always use a tag line. Use additional tag lines where required. Use rope grab hooks for tag lines to avoid line of fire.
Use hands-free safety tool to avoid hands on loads. Only use impact-resistant gloves for rigging work. Iluka Katabi Accommodation Village completed by Grounded in 2018.
Activities and environmental impacts. To minimise environmental impact, it is important for us to understand the link between various activities and the potential impact these have on the environment. We should always keep in mind the 5 R's. They're 5 R's: reduce, recycle, refuse, repair, reuse. Activities and environmental impacts. To minimise environmental impact, it is important for us to understand the link between various construction activities and the potential impact these have on the environment. Environmental impacts on construction site can include vegetation management. A construction site may have vegetation that needs to be protected. Fauna. Native vegetation provides habitat for native animals, reptiles, and insects, including shelter, food, and protection, which will need to be protected on a construction site. Erosion and sediment control. Construction activities can contribute to erosion of soil that may impact watercourses. Noise and vibration. Construction noise and vibration can cause nuisance and structural damage. It is important that the impact is minimal. Air quality. Construction activities can lead to dust emissions from traffic, cleared areas, stockpiles, and blasting. This can impact the environment by contaminating plants and watercourses. Water management and contaminated materials. The disposal of construction wastes should follow these principles. Minimise the production of wastes. Maximise the reuse and recycling of wastes. Dispose of wastes in an environmentally responsible manner. Material storage. Stockpiles and depot sites, if not carefully contained, can damage vegetation and heritage sites, pollute watercourses, or spread weeds. Reporting any environmental impacts. Contact your supervisor to report observations. Supervisors review conditions and reinstate environmental controls. Supervisors escalate to the manager. Manager determines assets, maintenance, and operational priorities. Supervisors raise incident. Hand-saving choices. I will pause and reassess every task and implement controls to prevent hand and finger injury. I will stop people when I see them in an exposed position. I will always select the correct gloves for the task I am conducting. I will always select the correct tool for the task I am conducting. I will never put my hands in the line of fire. Driving safely. Plan your journey, get there safe. Do you need to complete a journey management plan? If unsure, check with HSE. Follow all signage on site, including speed limits. Drive to conditions. Always wear a seatbelt. Maintain a safe distance from other vehicles, 50 metres from HVs and 30 metres from LVs. Buses are to be used to transport work teams between camp and site. Minimise driving between sites and work areas on site in the dark. Radio protocol, positive communication. Never proceed to overtake without receiving permission via positive comms. Electrical safety. All electrical equipment must be inspected prior to use for wear and tear. All electrical equipment must be correctly tagged. Never overload or use makeshift plugs and fuses. Treat electricity with respect. Ensure all electrical cables are properly managed via cable management equipment to ensure the leads are off the ground and not in ponded water. Follow procedure for work on electrical systems and isolations, such as the lockout, tag-out procedure and permit to work process. This will be project specific. Barricading and temporary fencing. Temp fencing and hard barricading is used around excavations and to construction site boundaries to ensure that this is a restricted access area. Be aware, do not cross it. Ensure it is maintained and connected. Danger tape. Danger tape. Do not enter no-go area. If work must be done inside, replace with exclusive control tape. Caution tape. used to warn personnel of hazards. Can be entered if safe to do so after assessing risk. Must have information tag. Exclusive control tape. Used to control specific work areas. Used to restrict access as determined by JHA or supervisor. Must have designated access point. Environmental tape. Used to indicate an environmental area. No access unless authorized by environmental personnel. Heritage tape. Used to indicate a heritage area. No access unless authorized by heritage personnel or traditional owner. Remember, this tape is the standard used by Grounded. If working on client-controlled work sites, you will complete project client-specific induction. Tapes used and their meaning may differ.
Signage. Please be aware of all construction signage and take the appropriate action. Please refer to Grounded's mobile phone policy.
High-risk certificates. High-risk work activities require high-risk work licenses and/or other training and competency certification such as VOCs. A high-risk work license, HRWL, is required when carrying out certain high-risk work, including operating cranes, forklifts, hoists, rich stackers, rigging, and scaffolding. There are currently 19 high-risk work activities that legally require an SWMS in Australia. The below activities are the most likely high-risk activities you are likely to encounter at Grounded work sites. Involves a risk of a person falling more than 2 metres. In or near a shaft or trench with excavated depth greater than 1.5 metres or a tunnel. In an area in which there is any movement of powered mobile plant. Carried out in or near a confined space. Carried out on or near energised electrical installations or services. Smoking and vaping. Only smoke vape in designated areas. Do not smoke within 5 metres of a doorway or window. Please use the butt bins provided and not the ground. Anyone caught littering, they will be fined. Do not smoke when handling flammable chemicals or fuels. Smoking has a harmful effect on the environment and bystanders around you.
Grounded have qualified personnel for all aspects of the project, including scaffolding. Fitness for work. Stretch and warm up in the morning prior to any physical activity. Make sure you get enough sleep. Take regular breaks during the day. Drink plenty of water. Avoid too much alcohol. Eat regular and sensible meals. Wear the correct PPE. Don't drive when tired. Prescribed and over-the-counter medications may affect your ability to perform your work safely. Inform your supervisor if you are taking anything that may affect your ability to work. Let medics, ESOs know if you have any allergies. Are using any medications that they should be aware of to support you in the event of an emergency.
Project communication. Weekly toolbox, daily pre-start meetings and return to work meetings to be completed following R&R. Toolboxes conducted weekly. Pre-starts are conducted at the start of each shift. Review the previous shift's activities. Identify tasks and allocate responsibilities. Define resources, people, tools, materials, etc. Reinforce daily HSE message. Return to work is conducted on return from R&R. Incidents. Personnel shall immediately contact their supervisor when an event occurs, who then shall notify the client representative in accordance with the Grounded site-specific health and safety management plan. A workplace incident report will be completed for all of the following events: a near miss, property or equipment damage, physical injury or harm to health of workers, security such as theft of company property, environmental incident, non-work related incident, e.g. an injury at project accommodation. Should an incident occur in the workplace, all work is to discontinue, secure the event scene as soon as it is safe to do so, and not resume work until all temporary actions have been implemented and approval provided by the principal. Grounded has an obligation to report all injuries and events to the client. Vehicle safety monitoring systems. Grounded vehicles are all equipped with safety monitoring systems. As a minimum, GPS tracking is installed. On some of our projects, due to differing client requirements, additional safety monitoring systems may be installed. Recently in 2024, Grounded installed safety monitoring systems into light vehicles at our Rio Tinto projects. These systems track data described on the right-hand side, and the camera installed shows the identity of the driver. In-vehicle monitoring system, IVMS capability. Real-time alert of the following events. Harsh event detection. Accelerometer-based including accident, harsh acceleration, harsh braking, and harsh cornering. Speed of vehicle is above user-defined speed limits based on geofences. Where the speed limit is over 100 km per hour, the vehicle speed must be alarmed at 100 km per hour. Driving without a seatbelt and driving over 2 hours and 15 minutes without a rest. Ability to download data recording to allow for analysis and, where required, to assist with incident investigations. DFMS, Driver Fatigue Monitoring System capability. DFMS, Driver Fatigue Monitoring System. DFMS, Driver Fatigue Monitoring System capability. Real-time alert of the following. A driver fatigue event within 1.5 seconds of eye closure when travelling at 20 km per hour or greater. The driver looks away for more than 5 seconds when travelling at 30 km per hour or greater. The driver's face cannot be seen by the camera for 2 minutes or where the camera is obstructed, and ability to download data recording to allow for analysis and, where required, to assist with incident investigations. Hazardous and dangerous goods. Purchasing substances site approval. Hazardous substances and dangerous goods which are intended to be used on a project worksite should be subject to prior approval. Workers and subcontractors must not bring their own selection of hazardous chemicals, dangerous goods into the workplace without prior approval from Grounded. Review and approval of substances shall involve a risk assessment will be conducted for any hazardous substance or dangerous good using FRM 076 Hazardous Substance Risk Assessment Checklist and reviewed for approval prior to being transported to site. This will involve a review of the Product Safety Data Sheet, SDS, to determine safest product selection and to identify any health surveillance or other safety requirements. General requirements. A register of all hazardous substances, dangerous goods, and supporting SDS will be maintained and available to personnel at the relevant project site. Hazardous substances, dangerous goods shall be stored in accordance with the relevant SDS. Product labelling must be in a legible condition at all times. If substances are decanted into smaller containers, the containers must be clearly marked to indicate the contents. Substances must never be decanted into containers normally used for food or drink. If a spillage occurs, it must be immediately cleaned up and correctly disposed of, in accordance with the SDS and any local environmental regulatory requirement. Any disposal of dangerous or hazardous substances will be conducted in accordance with relevant legislation and the SDS. Training will be provided on the correct use, storage, handling, and transport of substances. PPE will be provided in accordance with the SDS. Emergency information. When you hear an emergency called, stop work. Proceed to muster point as directed. Wait for further information. Any instructions given by an emergency response person, supervisor, or manager are to be followed during an emergency. Do not leave the muster point until you are advised to do so by your emergency response person. Please read the below cyclone and lightning preparation information. Dehydration and water absorption. How does the body become dehydrated? Common factors in the average adults. Excessive alcohol consumption, caffeine intake, insufficient water intake, severe vomiting and diarrhea, water loss, too much exercise without fluid replacement. Working muscles demand more blood for O2 delivery and removal of wastes. Heat exposure. Sweating to aid body temperature regulation. Simply breathing in and out uses more than half a litre of water every day. Tips for water absorption. Drink water consistently.
Overconsumption of water can have adverse effects. Body can only absorb 250 to 300 ml of fluid every 15 to 20 minutes. Water-based foods can help too, such as cucumber, oranges, watermelon, pineapple, lettuce, and celery. Place some fruit into your water if you need to mix it up. Take hydrolytes. Take regular breaks. Ensure you drink water regularly throughout the day, regardless of being thirsty. Causes of heat stress. Electrolytes are not the silver bullet to hydration, and water is always the number one source of hydration. When we sweat, we lose electrolytes which aren't replaced by water. When we lose electrolytes during the day, that's when supplemental electrolytes can help play a part in helping the body absorb back in the electrolytes we lose. At work. Outdoor workers. Use a ratio of 3 servings of 600 ml of water to 1 serving of electrolyte, 3-to-1 ratio, e.g. 2.5 litres would mix 1 sachet for a 3-to-1 ratio. Indoor workers use a 6 glasses of water, 1 glass of electrolyte, 6-to-1 ratio.
Be aware and vigilant. Arrive to work hydrated. Look after your teammates. Good hydration, small, frequent drinks of water. Electrolytes if needed. Complete a hydration test on site. Self-pace at work. Consider your medications. PPE. Plan your work schedule if possible. Strenuous tasks at the cooler times of day or in shaded areas. Drinking water whilst consuming alcohol. Replace salts and electrolytes naturally through food consumption. Annual leave and sick leave. Annual leave. Annual leave may be taken by agreement between you and the company. To facilitate the granting of a leave request, you must provide a minimum of 4 weeks' notice if taking 2 days or less, and 8 weeks' notice when taking more than 2 days annual leave prior to the intended start date of the leave. You must receive written approval from your supervisor and the project manager for taking of annual leave prior to making holiday arrangements. Leave application forms can be requested from your supervisor. Sick leave. When claiming personal leave, which encompasses sick and carers leave, for either you or a family member, you are required to provide the company with evidence for each day that your absence was due to the illness, injury, or an unexpected emergency affecting a member of your immediate family or household. The evidence required to satisfy the company is a medical certificate from a medical practitioner. Please refer to Grounded's legal and other compliance obligations. Where a work health and safety issue or concern is raised, all parties must meet or communicate with each other to help resolve it. When resolving a workplace health and safety issue, one person or several people may be involved. Please refer to the issue resolution graph. Grounded team completing concrete pads and footpaths. Risk management is an integral part of our business. Please read our hazard management process. Please refer to our risk matrix graphs. Employees shall be actively involved in hazard identification processes. Where a hazard is reported, the employee shall verbally report the hazard to their direct supervisor or manager, who will advise of the proposed action or actions. Human resources. We have a human resources management system called Enable HR. The implementation of this system ensures greater simplicity and accessibility by embracing automation and allowing less paperwork. Grounded employees will have their own secure portal accessible via any internet-capable device. Employees will be able to update their details, tickets, and view other important documents. The software is responsible for multiple areas of HR within the company, such as data management, tickets and qualifications, employee details, emergency contacts, payroll details, bank account, tax, and superannuation. Drug and alcohol policy. Grounded has a zero-tolerance approach to illegal drugs or alcohol being present in the workplace, employees being found to be under the influence of illegal drugs or alcohol in the workplace when carrying out their work-related duties. All employees and contractors must, Recognise that performance of duties could be affected by alcohol or drugs. Not attend work under the influence of any substance and/or be intoxicated, and immediately notify management if they are aware of any breach of this policy by another employee or contractor employee. Be mindful of the effect of prescription drugs. Notify management if required, e.g. driving. Must notify supervisor if unfit for work. Employees must not manufacture, possess, distribute, sell, purchase, use, or consume illegal drugs in the workplace. Work while under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Attend work, commence or return to work while under the influence of alcohol and/or drugs. Anti-discrimination and EEO policy. Grounded aims to provide an environment where employees and others in the workplace are treated fairly and with respect, and are free from unlawful discrimination, harassment, and vilification. We also aim to create a work environment which promotes good working relationships. All employees must understand and comply with the policy. Ensure you do not engage in any unlawful conduct towards others. Ensure you do not aid, abet, or encourage other persons to engage in unlawful conduct. Follow the complaint procedure if you experience any unlawful conduct. Report any unlawful conduct they see occurring to others in the workplace. Maintain confidentiality if they are involved in the complaint procedure. Be aware that you can be held legally responsible for your unlawful conduct. Those who aid, abet, or encourage other persons to engage in unlawful conduct can also be legally liable. Workplace bullying policy. Grounded aims to provide a safe and healthy work environment, so far as is reasonably practicable, in which all employees are treated fairly, with dignity and respect. Bullying is a risk to health and safety in the workplace and will not be tolerated. All employees must understand and comply with this policy. Ensure you do not engage in any conduct which may constitute bullying towards others. Ensure you do not aid, abet, or encourage other persons to engage in bullying behaviour. Follow the complaint procedure if you experience bullying. Report any bullying you see occurring to others in the workplace, and maintain confidentiality if they are involved in the incident which has been reported. Social media policy. In consideration of the type of business of Grounded, any comments about or in connection with Grounded made in a social media platform must be factual and consistent information with Grounded's goals and objectives. This means protecting commercially sensitive information in accordance with a Grounded employee's contract of employment and a Grounded contractor's contract for service. All Grounded employees and Grounded contractors are restricted from making comments on behalf of Grounded or using Grounded's branding, including the corporate logo, internal logo, and registered trademarks, in any social media platform unless otherwise authorized. External social media platforms. When using external social media platforms, including but not limited to social networks and blogging sites, Grounded employees and Grounded contractors should not disparage or make adverse comments about Grounded, any Grounded employee, or any Grounded contractor. This includes where such comments are made whilst a Grounded employee or Grounded contractor is contributing to a social media platform using a Grounded computer and internet resources, and similarly, whilst using a non-Grounded computer or handheld device. Employee Assistance Program. We understand that all people go through tough points in their lives and need help to get through them. Don't suffer in silence. Speak to those who are best equipped to provide the assistance you need. The company offers all employees access to counselling and support services free of charge through our Employee Assistance Program, EAP, Working Life, 1300 369 072 or 08 9321 5066. You can also download the Working Life app for easy access to resources and to book an appointment. To access the resources on the website, the password is WL2018.